Hey everybody, this is Dan coming to you alive from Japan. And today I wanted to talk to you about Fund10 and what has been accomplished from the zenGate side and from the teams working with zenGate on the various proposals that got approved in Fund10 by the community and got funded in Fund10 by the community. This is basically our report to you. With Fund11 coming up, we wanted to make sure that we are very transparent with the progress that we've made, with what's been accomplished, and so that everybody's on the same page going into Fund 11, because we have proposals in Fund 11, and so we would like to have a continuation of the support and trust from the community. And so this is one of the ways we would like, it's like I said, to report to you on what's going on, show you what's going on, and also ask for your feedback coming into Fund 11 of what we can do better. I'm going to start with the first proposal that we submitted, which gained a lot of traction and a lot of community support. And that was the new SPO revenue streams for securing bridge infrastructure. And as many of you know, this was the proposal for RosenBridge. And so RosenBridge originally is an Ergo innovation. It was built on the Ergo side, and it was utilized to bridge the Cardano and Ergo ecosystems. And essentially where the SPO revenue stream came in is Cardano SPOs have a unique opportunity and are in a unique position to offer infrastructure for securing this bridge and in a form of a watcher. We got a lot of excitement from the Cardano community. We were really gracious for that. And so we continued on after we got approved for funding on through our milestones. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to go through a few of the milestones and just kind of give you a little bit of a breakdown of what we did in each one of the milestones. Of course, all this information is available on the Catalyst webpage, and you can check it out yourself in more detail. So I'm just going to give you a high-level overview, and please check this out. We will have links for you in the post accompanying this video. So the first milestone was SPO tooling and reward model working group sessions. What these were a string of workshops with the SPOs, with the community, that were led by Theodore, our irreplaceable jack of all trades from zenGate. And essentially what happened here was a collaboration session with the SPOs participating in the launch of RosenBridge, getting their feedback, understanding how the bridge infrastructure works, and to kind of giving them an understanding of what it takes to be a watcher. All of these workshops were finished, they were conducted. We got feedback on them. We have them recorded. So if you actually would like to check them out, they are available on YouTube for you to see what went on in the workshops, get all the information out of the workshops, and just, again, to if you'd like to stay up to date on what's going on with what has been done and the crux of it, that's a great place for information and for alpha on what's happening. Moving on to milestone 2, the milestone 2 was the rewards model and tokenization. And so this was the part of the proposal where we actually work on the tokenomics that are accompanying the token economy that accompanies the bridge. And of course, the watchers and the guards of the bridge get paid with rewards from the bridge token economy. So for us to get it right, for the RosenBridge team to get it right, again, we needed to collaborate with the community and understand what it would take to incentivize the community to effectively secure this infrastructure, to effectively participate in this, and to be incentivized to actively participate in this. So again, this was done. This was done with the help of the community, again, from information gained from the workshops. This was finalized in the tokenomics, and the token was actually launched a couple of months ago and is now in circulation. That milestone was very successfully accomplished. We moved on to milestone 3, which was the development of SPO Watcher tooling. And so again, this was the tooling that is needed for the stateful operator to utilize their infrastructure and their hardware to be a watcher for RosenBridge. Some of it was already developed, the bare bones were developed, but really we needed the participation of the SPO community to really get it robust and fine-tune what was needed to have an effective infrastructure to power the bridge. And so again, this was accomplished and it was done. The build was completed by the RosenBridge team, again, with the help of the community, and this milestone was completed successfully. So milestone 4 is the development of the SPO Watcher tooling refinement and beta launch, which essentially was the beta launch of RosenBridge. So after the tooling was completed in milestone 3, it was rolled out on milestone 4. The SPOs then utilized the tooling to do test transactions. I don't know if it's fortunately or unfortunately had to use Hosky and Comet for test transactions, and which were then turned into RS Hosky and RS Comet. However, the transactions were successful. Again, it was a very successful milestone from our end, which then followed the main net launch of Rosen, which is happening right now. And again, of course, the tooling is being refined. New iterations are coming out. However, the bridge is live. So this was delivered upon. Moving on to milestone 5 is going to be onboarding education and bootstrapping materials, which is essentially a maintenance and education iteration. And so again, we were creating documentation, we're creating how-to guides, we're creating walkthroughs, we're creating videos, and so on. All this material that is needed to onboard new SPOs and new watchers onto the platform and onto the system. And it's important to mention that although if you are an SPO, you are in an amazing position to be a watcher, you don't have to be an SPO to be a watcher. Essentially, anybody can be a watcher. You just need to have the minimum viable architecture available, connection, and of course, the tooling that the RosenBridge team put out. And again, through this documentation, you will be able to know how to set these things up and to become a watcher on Rosen. Milestone 5, we're about one point from being completed. We need to host an AMA for that to be completed, and that is being set up by Theodore, and it will be done very shortly. And so milestone 5, aside from that, is pretty much done. Milestone 6, the final milestone, is the project wrap-up and further onboarding. And again, this is the iteration where we utilize all the tools that have been created, utilize all the documentation has been created, and further expand the bridge community, the watcher community, and the user community through these efforts, through social media, through various different points of engagement. Again, this was a very, very successful proposal and very successful execution. You know, it couldn't have been done without the help of everybody that was involved. The community came out strong. The RosenBridge team came out strong. The zenGate team came out strong. The Spectrum team came out strong. So everybody involved here really was a rock star. And I'm really proud of the progress that we made with this proposal. And so because this proposal was so successful and the execution was so successful, in Fund 11, we have a continuation of this proposal. And so this one is actually going to be even bigger. So the next proposal that got approved in Fund 10 was the ecosystem building and large-scale Atala tech deployment blueprint. And this was part of the Fund 10 Atala Prism launch ecosystem challenge. And essentially what this is a blueprint for rolling out large-scale solutions, which does not exist or did not exist in the Cardano ecosystem. And the idea here is that we have all this great tooling. We have Atala that has just become open source. We have other tooling available from various different teams. And this tooling needs to have a playbook on how to roll it out on large scales, on jurisdiction level scales, on industry level scales. And so this specifically was intended to create that blueprint for projects to utilize the tech with, and for projects to have just kind of a step-by-step on what to do to create a minimum viable ecosystem for deployment. The blueprint was created from our connections in the tea industry in Sri Lanka. And so essentially what we did was we created the blueprint from the rapid onboarding of tea producers in Sri Lanka. And so what we did was we prepared and conducted several workshops throughout Sri Lanka with the tea producers to understand exactly what it takes and what it means to onboard industry level jurisdiction, industry level communities on to these particular on-chain ecosystems. And so again, I'm just going to go through the milestones just quickly. The first milestone was about workshop preparation. And so essentially what it was we had to put together all the right people for these workshops. We had to pick up industry leaders. We had to get specialty tea specialists. We had to engage with various agencies and various regulatory agencies within the jurisdiction, within Sri Lanka, and create a sort of a consortium that would then conduct this workshop, the main workshop, and what led up to the workshop, in order for us to be able to gather the information and to create this blueprint. And so the beginnings of that was milestone one. So it was preparation of the workshop, preparation of all the people that are involved in it, setting things up, logistical aspects of making this happen. The second milestone was all about creating the materials required for these workshops and to work with these individuals and these groups to effectively gather information and to effectively record information, which would then become the blueprint. And so again, this was accomplished, of course, before the workshops were conducted with the help of Joyce Mina, our specialty tea rock star. We were able to move on to milestone 3, which was the global working group preparation. So this was the actual working group for the workshop in Colombo. And so these were not just factory owners and farmers, but these were exporters, these were brokers, these were specialty tea growers, because there are also different types of growers that produce artisanal and specialty teas, and there's other types that produce commodity tea. So all these peoples, as well as the Sri Lankan Tea Board, we got cooperation from the Sri Lankan Tea Board. So all these people and all of these agencies were contacted by us, they are organized by us to create a working group to basically prepare for the workshop. So milestone 4 was the actual workshop and workshops, should I say. So what we did was we actually went to Sri Lanka, as we had to, no other way to conduct these successfully, but to actually be boots on the ground. So we came out there, our advisors came out to Sri Lanka, Joyce Mina joined us. Several of the zenGate team joined us. We had two of our members from Australia, who are also Sri Lankan, join us and working out these workshops. I was there, Sam was there, and Sam and Joyce conducted these workshops. So essentially what they did was they took a road trip through Sri Lanka, through the different farms and the different cooperatives growing tea, and conducted small workshops, gathered information, and prepared for the big workshop in Colombo, which was then conducted at the end of our trip. And again, it was a very successful workshop. What we were able to do is we really were able to not just hone in on the blueprint, but really hone in on what the sentiment of the industry is. And which is very important, because that is a big part of mass adoption of any kind of technology, is you have to understand the sentiment of the industry. And so this is what we were able to gain from these workshops. And so, of course, right now we're finalizing our reports on the workshops. We're finalizing the blueprint right now. We have the information required for the blueprint. And so we're hard at work finalizing these materials and getting them out to you. And so, again, this was a very successful. The team came through, and I am very proud of the team, and I'm very proud of the work that we've done with this proposal.